Ladies and gentlemen of the board, Reliance Services is in a pivotal position as we prepare ourselves for sale or acquisition in the coming 12 months. Not since the merger of DEP and Gardner Electrical have we faced a more critical need for organisational alignment. Recent surveys show us that change isn't just required, but that it is inevitable for us to move forward. The strategies outlined in the strategic plan as put together by project team OzMosis will provide us with the tangible inputs and approaches that we need to correctly align and position Reliance Services for said acquisition. We together, as a team and as an organisation, will enhance our value proposition that is echoed within every factory, every warehouse, office, product, and through our board over the next year. Reliance is about consistency, dependability, reliability. Every facet of our organisation and our product needs to reflect these values. Time is of the essence. These changes will happen within a very limited time frame to transform Reliance into the culturally aligned, quality driven and customer focused profit centre that I know it can be. I look forward to working with you and seeing the transformation unfold over the next year. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, good morning. We've just had the opportunity to review the address that I gave you 12 months ago when we started looking at the strategic plan for sale or acquisition of the business from Team OzMosis. This morning we're meeting to go through some of the changes that have happened over the last 12 months and to review the performance of the team and look at how that's impacted on the business. We'll start off with just watch through the executive summary. I'm not going to bore you by going through it again. We'll have a look at the minutes from our previous meeting, move into some progress reports, look at the major accomplishments of the project, some of the finalisation of business, so some of the tasks that are still outstanding, key learnings, and right at the end there'll be an opportunity for feedback and questions. So hold off until then. I'd just like to reintroduce Team OzMosis, who've been the members who've been critical in the change and transformation. Myself, CEO, Ben Kilsby, Mr. Junior Vice President of Marketing and Procurement, Rick DeAndrea, Chief Environment Officer, Steve Knights, our Chief Information Officer, Vicky Rabuli, who unfortunately can't be with us this morning, our Chief Finance and HR Officer, and Vaughan Wilds, our Chief Quality and Safety Officer. Thank you. So, review of our last minutes, the things that we were talking about in our last meeting, which was last month. We had a look at, we were looking at the progress and the projects that we still had running where we were finalising alignment of the operational procedures and reviewing standing contracts and the implementation of additional maintenance contracts throughout the business and implementation of new organisational structure changes, which have all been received fairly well. So from progress report, all of our actions are closed out. Recommendations, we looked at some of the Victorian commercial sales plan for the maintenance contracts, which has been implemented in the last 6 months. It's worked pretty well, and we've achieved some good results from that. We've also reviewed our standard installation practices, which have been developed and implemented across our new team of installers, and that has some safety ramifications, which we'll cover off a little bit later on. Action items and follow-ups. Reviewed the changes from the last meeting. We started to rationalise some of the underperforming assets and exiting them from within the business. Looked at determining the value of the intellectual property with sale or acquisition pending, and determined how to really sort of fine-tune the marketing and the direction that we're going with in regards to that sale. The CI objectives we were looking at were starting to reduce labour in the manufacturing plant and consolidation of sites, so core functions being consolidated through HR, administration, manufacturing. Feedback, general feel for the meeting. Well, things are going pretty good. We're getting through the functions. The new standardised policies and procedures are really having a very positive impact on the business and on morale. The rate of safety incidents has significantly reduced over the last 12 months. Significantly. We are now below the national average, which is really a very pleasing result. And it's through those standard procedures and structure where we've been able to achieve that. Well, 12 months on, we wouldn't be here if we didn't plan what we were going to do. So we'll take a minute and we'll look at what is the process and how did we actually get here. Well, we had to analyse our organisation, and we did that through SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunities and threats. Risk analysis: what are the risks that the business faces, what are the challenges, and an in-depth value cycle analysis over all of the core bases of our business. From that, we were able to draw recommendations to make improvement and come up with action plans to make sure that the improvements are going to be made. From that, we put together our project plan. The first 3 months of the project were all about really looking at the business in depth. So reviewing customer terms and contracts, operating procedures, manufacturing processes, installation, reviewing our HR policies, OH&S, supplier and third-party contracts, the organisational structure. It also involves some external auditing of the business. It's always helpful to get a different perspective from professionals, as well as a valuation of the current business, which, let's be honest, really came in a lot lower than what we expected. And we returned that with a report back to the board at the conclusion of the 3 months with the review. That progressed into, over the next quarter, we started to align our operational procedures, so with review of standard contracts and the maintenance contracts. So instead of, we had a look at them, identified the strengths and weaknesses of our position. We're now moving into the phase where we're starting to take action. One of the most significant things that we were able to drive in our Victorian business was the implementation of a sales plan, a strong sales plan for Victoria, who, as a Reliance Services, we have a diverse product range which isn't hitting the market. And it's not hitting them, wasn't hitting the market because our Victorian sales team were not letting us down. We hadn't provided them with the information to get that product out to the market. And our new sales plan has definitely rectified that situation. The implementation of the standard installation procedures on all hot water systems to standard company standards, which originated from what we're doing here in South Australia. We also implemented changes to the procedures and address weaknesses in OH&S. And the results of that are in our OHS audit, which is within the strategic plan. We started to look at a possible restructure of the business. Now this is important because this will be the most significant changes that the business is going to undertake. So reviewing finance and HR headcount and introducing the new systems to improve efficiency in accounting across both sites and manufacturing all products at the one site. We received results from that when we had our last meeting, so the progress at the end of 12 months is, well, the changes have been made. So we rationalised our underperforming assets. And by underperforming, that doesn't necessarily mean they were doing a good job. It means that we weren't getting return on investment. So we removed manufacturing labour by outsourcing overseas at reduced costs, and reduced some of our admin staff, which is less required, partly due to our outsourcing manufacturing to overseas, as well as outsourcing other functions within the business, such as transport and warehousing. Some of the workforce from warehouse and distribution, proudly they've been able to integrate into the rest of the business, so retraining them to be installers and salesmen, which has again strengthened our position in the market. I think from what we've done over the last year, we have a very good understanding of what the value of our IP is, and that'll set us up well. A major accomplishments. Well, we have a successful organisational restructure. Many companies try this and they fail. And the key to achieving this for us was communication with our staff throughout the process. Implementation of standard policies and procedures across both states. And by doing this, we all are working towards common goals and common values. Significant cost savings have been achieved from outsourcing production, and not only production, our transport, warehousing as well, has all achieved significant results. We've been able to achieve an increased market share through aggressive sales strategies, particularly in Victoria, and we've now been able to tap into new markets from really pushing hard the products that we do so well. And that all-important reduction in installation funds. As a CEO, my ass is on the line here, guys, when it comes to safety, and I think we're doing a very good job of putting safety first, and not only for our business, but for our customers and consumers. Finalisation of business investor potential. Well, we have a couple of people interested in purchasing the company. We have a South Australian co-op made up of local business owners in South Australia and business people who would like to take over Reliance Services and run it as a going concern. We also have interest from a multinational corporation who are looking at acquiring the company and merging to within their own processes and their own current retail outlets across Australia. All of this work that we've done as part of the project has been to increase our sales price. And we expect that to be somewhere in the lines of 5 to 6 times annual turnover for acquisition. One of the things that I think James Gardner would be very proud that we've been able to do is that the business is going to continue. We will see our staff move over either as Reliance or integrated into another business, but we're maintaining jobs, and we're looking after the people that have helped make this company so strong. Some of our financial projections. So 2010, we're looking at taking gross revenue to just under $26 million. Well, I can say with the results that we have put on the board, we're looking at completely blowing out our budget. We will smash it. And into 2011, we're looking at the continued improvement from all of that hard work. Key learnings. Well, what would we be if we didn't have a look at our progress, and what have we learnt along the way? Well, the number one thing is you need to get it started. Like with any project or with any task, getting started is always the hardest part. It doesn't matter if it's just a couple of words or a couple sentences. Get it started. Stop procrastinating and get on with the job. Collaboration through a central point has been quite important to this project and throughout the team. Having a team leader and a central point for collaboration, whether it be either through that person or through online tools such as SharePoint, as the team have also used, really gives you focus on where you're going to go. The team leader is able to drive, put the boot up when people are falling behind as well. And it's very important to review progress. And that's part of what we're doing today. We're looking at, well, what have we done? What have we done? How did we get here? What worked? What didn't work? Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for the presentation. The rest of the information and more detailed info can be found in the strategic plan, which will all be made available to everybody via online. Now is your opportunity to ask questions and to provide feedback. Over to the board.
How about that?